one of the stats that I read over and over, and I repeated it to a few people, and I'm struggling getting my head wrapped around it, is that 50% of all the people who check into a hospital over the age of 45, like people who go to emergency rooms, the source of their issue started with a fall.
Yeah. And I tell that, I mean, you know, I've been doing this.
I believe it, but I also don't believe it. But I believe it because I just saw the entire earth go through they shut the earth down for 2 years saying that it was because of COVID, when that's looking at the symptom, when the issue is obesity. Not one healthy person died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, he's pointing at the issue. The issue isn't you have a broken hip. That's the symptom. The issue is that you didn't use the slack block and you fell down.
Right.
I can't even fucking believe that you've pointed at one of the most obvious underlying issues debilitating humanity just with like, hey, here, look, here's my block.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Now, well, I think, you know, I've talked to enough people over the years, and I always repeat that statistic. And when I'm training somebody, and I don't know how many people who have said, yes, that happened to me. And they're healthy, fit looking people. They're not, you know, obese or don't have muscle tone or that type of thing. They're healthy, fit looking people who have had that fall. So it doesn't necessarily attack just those who are out of shape. You know, another statistic that I find mind blowing is the number one cause of falls for people over the age of 65 are curbs. And
yeah, I saw that too.
Going back to our point before about the perfect world, well, steps are perfectly separated. You know, every move and every building and everything man-made is perfect height, except for curbs. They end up being varying heights because there's no real laws for what a curb height is or isn't. Roads change, roads get more material put down on them. So that's a step up that people have to do that's never the same. And it's just, that doesn't work if you go back 1,000 years and we're walking around the woods. You got to learn how to step on shit without falling down and getting hurt.
You know, we have these huge, you know, you were around in the 80s and we have the whole thing was everyone's dying of AIDS. I never knew one person who died of AIDS, but off the top of my head, I can think of 6 people's grandmothers who fell, broke their hip and died. Right. Just 6, just like that. Oh, his.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you broke your hip, you went to the hospital, you got pneumonia, and you died.
You know what the number one cause of concussions are? $90 billion a year problem. It's not Johnny on the football field or Sally on a soccer pitch. It's from falls. And so I find it interesting. I mean, I have his book here. It's all taped up. There's, you know, famous podcaster wrote a big book on brain health and all the things you can do for brain health. And you know, take this and do this and meditate here and all this kind of stuff. And there's nothing in there about improve your balance, because the number one cause of TBIs, concussions, are falls. So I can take care of a lot of problems without having to go through all that other shit to protect my brain just by having better balance.